What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again here on the Kenganda channel. And brothers and sisters, I'm so glad that you're here today. I have one of my favorite brothers here from the Afro Think Tank YouTube channel, powerful brother. I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself.
What's going on, everybody? It's Afro Think Tank. I'm a Pan-African, all right? I believe in economic and social cooperation between all Black people, no matter where you're from, no matter what your ethnicity is. I celebrate the differences of all our cultures, and I believe that we can work together on a commonality of being Black/African, because that's what Black means, and then we can work together to uplift ourselves uplift ourselves in our situation, out of our situation, and improve ourselves in the world. And that's what I talk about on my page.
All right, and give him a round of applause, brothers and sisters. Okay, now, Brother Afro Think Tank, I came across his channel last year and started watching some of his content. And Brother Afro Think Tank, I believe you're from the Washington, D.C. area.
Yes.
And I spent some time in Washington, D.C. So cities like Washington, D.C., New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore, this kind of a conglomerate of many different Black cultures may be perceived a little bit different as somebody like myself who's from Sacramento, your Clevelands of the world, places like that. And I noticed that online you see a lot of the Nigerian versus the African American situation. You see the ADOS and the FBA versus the rest of the Caribbean and the African communities. But in cities like DC, cities like Philadelphia, what is the culture like there between African Americans and the other brothers from other places, and how do they interact?
Okay, well, in this area where the majority of, I'd say about 80% of the Black population in America are, for the most part, we live seamlessly together. There's no beef at all. I'm 38 years old. Since I've been growing up, my best friends have been from Nigeria, Ghana, Jamaica, Trinidad, all over the place, and we just interact seamlessly together. We joan on each other, we talk trash about each other, we go play football together, we play blast basketball in the street with the milk carton together, and when we did everything together, we knew that that guy was Black from Africa, we knew that guy was Caribbean, and the only difference it made is who food we was going to eat when we finished playing outside. We knew we was going to go, we went to the African person's house, we was going to get some spicy food, she was going to have the donuts, and she was going to have all the crazy drinks. We knew the Caribbean was going to have the jerk chicken and the funny tasting bread that tastes good with the curry and all that, and the African Americans, we was going to have the fried chicken and the cornbread. Like, everybody knew who house to go to, and it was there's no problem. Even growing up in the teenage years, young adult years, we go to the club together. Our DJs are mixing the Caribbean music, African music, African American music, blended.
Go-go.
Go-go is actually a Caribbean, is an original American piece of music built out of America, but it's inspired by Caribbeans who actually came over here and created a go-go genre, which is kind of like really close to a traditional drum West African music style.
Okay.
So I mean, we're very blended here. So there's a different perspective in places where the Black population is a little more sparse compared to the European population.
Okay. So now let's get to the internet, because back, I'm a little bit older, not too much. I'm 41. So in the time that I was coming up in Sacramento, I didn't have a whole lot of African friends, because Sacramento was just the Black population was predominantly African American. Right. And so you have your African friends here and there, but they tried to fit in, amongst our community, right. And maybe at home it was a little bit different. So you kind of you look at the guy like he was kind of like us. As long as he sounded like us, and if he sounded a little bit different, that might have been, an issue. But if he grew up here and he sounded like us, we really didn't, know the difference. But now we're in the internet age where you're seeing a lot of people, kind of repping a little bit more with with Afro beats out now. The Caribbean thing. You always see people on Instagram with the Haitian flag, Caribbean flags, Nigerian flag, Niger. And you kind of see a lot of this, online, what you would call maybe like set tripping or something like that, like the Bloods or Crips or something like that. Yeah. And then you kind of see there's a little bit of animosity between some of these online communities. And if you go to DC or Philly, you don't really see that as much, or New York City, where, you have a lot of people marrying from different communities, Liberian and African American, or, both parents, African American parent, Ghanaian, parent. But online, you're seeing things a little bit different. Twitter different. What's changed online that's not maybe what it is in real life in these black communities in these big cities?
Well, I think what it was happening is we have a lot of leftover, I would say leftover people who they were a little late to the internet. They just switched from their flip phone to a phone with a touchscreen, and they just got internet. They just got introduced to the internet. And see, the thing about the internet, it allows people to communicate, but it also allows people to hide behind avatars. Look, half these people who don't show their avatars, who just write and say FBA, half of them are not even black. They're white folks. They're European Americans who are pretending to be black. They do that all the time. It's been recorded. It's all over the place. The other half are black folks who may be, they may not be socially awkward, or they may be introverts, and the internet has created an environment where they can be brave because they don't have to back up any of the things that they say. So they kind of pick teams, like football team or a basketball team. So FBA sounds good. You got yourself somebody who's charismatic, comes up with FBA, sounds good, sounds real solid. Like I said, hard FBA. Everybody wants to be represented. And I think they feel like some people feel like African American is too broad of a term, and that everybody else can participate in that title, and they want their own particular title to distinguish themselves, because they believe that by them coming over here, they're going to be replaced, which is the same talking point and the same thing that the white European who's racist, they're afraid of the same thing. So it's like we're adopting this European way of form of racism, but because it's black on black, is xenophobia. Right, so we have these people who are scared to be replaced by these other Africans who look like them, who can compete with them now. You're no longer the special. You're not the token black guy, because there's another black guy who speaks a whole nother language, has a whole nother life experience than you. So now you got to compete. You're not just the one cool black guy. There's a whole bunch of them out there now. So as black people, we got egos and we're prideful, and we're all the same. Nigerians, Ghanaians, African Americans, we're the same group of people, only 200-300 years removed. We have the same DNA, the same genetics. We got the same attitude problem, same ego problem, same everything. That's why we bump heads so much. We're looking in the mirror and we don't recognize what we're seeing. And so we just have an element of jealousy. Just like any place else. Like you've been around just like any place else. Like if I go to another country, there's some people gonna be jealous of me simply because I'm an American. And they're gonna be afraid that I'm coming to take something from them. There's always somebody that's scared, and that's all this is. This is a scared element of our society that need to be educated. That's all it is. They have not unlearned a lot of the things that we were purposely taught by the European Americans, so that we can stay divided and conquered. But right now, the information, there's no excuses for it anymore. But these people don't want to get on board, because it takes effort to actually learn and expand your mind.
Okay, so you're gonna have some people that are listening to this right now, and they're gonna say, I disagree. I see, in Atlanta, I'm seeing that I have like there's some Nigerians that don't want to date African American, and tell their kids that stay away from them. We're different from them, and that does happen, right? And we got to be real. That is a part of the back and forth. But we'll get back to that, and I want to talk about this because you actually lived in Nigeria for some time, and you spent some time there. Right. And so, I remember my own mother, before I went to Uganda, her thing was like, don't go over there. They don't like our people don't like them. She was very, very blunt about that. Like, listen, she even cried one time. Like, listen, they go put some voodoo on you. These are not our people. How we don't get along with them in America. Right. And she never even been to Uganda, right? She's just ignorant saying that. But, she was saying, these are not our people. So we had to put that to the test. So when you were hearing did you hear some negative things from your family?
All of it. I heard it from.
Okay, let's talk about what they're saying.
Okay, from my mom thought I was crazy. She thought I was going to like some war-torn area or something. She was scared, right? Nigerian people thought I was crazy going to Nigeria, and they're from Nigeria. They're like, they live here. They like, why would you ever go to Nigeria? Like, they had no.
Let's talk about that. That's so important because we need to talk about that really. Let's stop there.
Okay.
A lot of times, Nigerians and Africans will talk bad on their country to us. Yeah, let's talk about that because people don't know how often that happens.
The main people that talk bad about Nigeria, to be example, to be frank, are Nigerians. And it's usually the Nigerians that come over here. They got a great job. They grabbed the opportunity. They buying up real estate. They're doing great for themselves, and they get to experience the American dream, right? So once they get all these luxuries and stuff, they start trashing their own country, right? So Nigeria, they don't have this. They talk about the lack of resources, and fair enough, they talk about the things that the country is lacking in. but they enjoy the resources that we have here so much. They don't want to go there and actually do anything. They just rather throw it away and stay here. They just love America and not going back to Nigeria. But when they do go to Nigeria, what they do is they show off. They have everybody in the village thinking they're super rich. They go rent the most expensive car from Enterprise Rent a Car. They go to the village with their 6 weeks saved up vacation money, and they're making it rain, making everybody think that they're in America and they're rich. And this is displayed even in Nigerian movies. They go to America, they get Americanized, they get African Americanized, and they become rich. And the village think they're rich. So you got all the people in the village thinking that anybody goes to America is milking honey and everything. So they believe the hype. So that means if you believe the hype, that means the Nigerian has to back that up every time they go. That means they got to keep sending that money to Nigeria, and it goes to various other countries. And so when you create a narrative, you got to maintain that narrative. And that's a problem that Nigerians, a lot of Africans are doing to their people at home in here. So that gives them a different perspective of us. And then that means they got to keep up with the Joneses every time they go home, not knowing that they in America struggling because they got day-to-day bills that they're not telling their people back home about. See, the people at home, they own those houses that they live in. Even if they poor, they own those houses outright. They ain't no mortgage. You got it or you don't. Here, most of us, we don't own houses. We own mortgages, right? Not the house, but we own mortgages. And even if you pay the house off, you paying taxes, so you really don't own nothing, right? Because you got to pay somebody. But the main people who say negative things about Nigeria are Nigerians to us, and then we just regurgitate that mostly throughout our 4 years. But people told me, "Oh, don't go to Nigeria," and I'm like, "Oh, just because you told me not to go to Nigeria, that's why I'm going to Nigeria." Right? I didn't want to believe the hype. I was like, "There's no way." Right? Plus, my ancestry comes from Nigeria. I am one of the privileged few who genealogically I can actually trace my ancestors all the way back to Lynchburg, Virginia, to All Girls College. I've been to the slave house. I've been to the master's house. I've been to the unmarked grave of my actual ancestors. I know the actual Black African that came here in Lynchburg, Virginia, enslaved. I know that. I know that history. Then I did my DNA. My DNA put me in Nigeria mainly, and in the Congo, like most of us. Because 80% of African Americans are basically West Nigeria and Congo, Ghana, that area. 80% of us. So I said, I'm gonna go back there to the place that my ancestors came from because they didn't choose to leave. And I'm gonna establish myself. So I built a house there, got a compound there, started a business there, I employed people there, and there's various other projects. I got a snail farm and various other micro farms that I'm trying to grow. I'm getting into retail. I'm doing all sorts of business in Nigeria on my own power. As a guy, I'm not rich. If I miss a paycheck, that's game over. All right. I just know how to use my money as a tool, and I can leverage my American money in Nigeria. My money goes further in Nigeria, so I'm able to do things that I couldn't do here in America.
Okay. So let's kind of talk about this because I want to bring it back to your initial, going to Nigeria and people thinking that you were crazy. Now, for me, when I went to Uganda, it was like, my mom was like, okay, well, you're going to go visit, that's fine. But I think when I started to have more of a proclivity for the country, wanted to return, that's when she started to get more concerned, because it's like, okay, the more you're going over there, the more bad things will probably happen to you. But and let's kind of talk about maybe those ideas of they won't like me because of what you may have heard. Now I know that you've had a positive experience living in DC in a community like that. But what was your experience getting there in comparisons to what other people were telling you, the Nigerian community in America that was negative, or your own family was saying? What was your experience when you got there on the ground?
I had to say, I actually was pissed off at my Nigerian friends in America once I got to Nigeria. The people in Nigeria are so peaceful. I've never felt so. I've been all over the world. I've met all sorts of people, and people are very nice around the world. But Nigeria, I felt safe. I felt welcome. Like, it's automatic. If you're African American, you go to Nigeria, you're automatically part of the family. Period. Like, if you're light skinned like me, the Igbos will say you look like an Igbo. The Yoruba say you look like my Igbo cousin, or you look like my Igbo friend over there. Or the Yoruba say, oh no, you look like my nephew, my cousin, my aunt, my sister. They claim you. They actively try to claim you. Even if the both different tribes are there, they will actually, no, you look like my cousin. No, you're one of us. You're one of us. They campaign. They know their history. The thing is, a lot of African Americans sit back and we complain, oh, they sold us, and that pain of being separated from Africa and having our ancestors separated. But they don't take a moment to think that there's families in West Africa that have stories of their great their great grandmothers being stolen, their great grandfathers being stolen. There's a pain of being ripped, having their family members ripped and taken apart, taken away from them, never to be seen or known again, which is worse than knowing if they're dead or alive, because you don't know. There's a whole network of people who know the stories of their ancestors that were taken, right? Who follow that lineage. So there's another side to the story that we never take into consideration. And these people wholeheartedly, if you are an African American, an Afro-Caribbean, and any diaspora, you come to Nigeria, they will let you know that you're very much Nigerian. And you can be a part of any tribe that you want to be, as long as you show respect, love, and admiration, and you do, when you're in Rome, do as the Romans do, learn their customs and trade, which is your customs, right? That you keep complaining that the Europeans took from you. Well, there it is, right there. Your people right there. The language that they took from you is right there. The culture that they took from you is all right there. You don't have to practice it, but you can at least know it and learn about it and respect it, and understand it. Like we understand all these other religions and practices that we celebrate and practice every year.
Okay. What was your day-to-day experience, being around, I'm pretty sure that you were in the village. So for some people that were maybe not in Lagos, but if you were in a smaller place, or, what was your experience like in living in the community on a day-to-day basis?
The community is very peaceful. They have it reminds me back when I was a kid, back when the grandmamas used to sit outside, right? And all the grandmamas, big mamas, they was out on the porches, and all the kids was out there playing together. And if somebody needed to be babysitted, one of the grandmas was doing it down the street, and they was rotating, taking turns. Some of the mamas had lunch and they'd bring it out, and somebody would get the water balloons, and it's that type of vibe, but it's over there. The community is very tight, right? So, and they're very giving, meaning, yes, they know that I'm American. I got money, I got money as far as they're concerned, but it doesn't stop them from giving me the little bit that they have when they greet me, right? It's all about respect. The elders, you greet the elders with respect. They greet you, and they acknowledge you. All the children respect you. When they walk by, they don't just disrespect. There's it's automatic respect. They bow and they prostrate. It's confusing. I've never felt so much peace and community feeling, in a place before, unless I was in Africa. Like, Africa is something familiar about it, and it will remind you about a lot of your African American culture and how you grew up, especially you country folk. It'd be so familiar, it'll blow your mind. And the culture shock you will experience is how similar we are, as far as how the family structure is, how we are, the things that we do, the things that the mamas do, the grandmamas do, the kids do, the little traditions that we think that's African American, that's unique to us, that we do within our family structures. You'll see the Africans doing, right? You be like, hold on. And you're like, oh man, we do that in our house. Or the food that you eat, because most of us, we're ignorant to African food. We have no idea what African food is except for a yam. But when you get deep into West African food and see the day-to-day food they eat, it's eerily similar to the day-to-day or the food that we eat, that we call soul food or modified food that we were given, back in the day when we were getting the scraps. But what people don't understand as well, we've been eating chitlins before we were forced to eat chitlins. We just call it something else. Everybody in the world eats animal innards and stuff like that. We've always eaten all the animal because it's a respect thing. We didn't waste animal food. So to transition to do that when we were captured in slavery was nothing to us, because we ate it anyway. Like black-eyed peas, cornbread, all these various, anything you think that's African American is just African culture. You just modify it. Your greens may not be the same type of greens. Your mashed potatoes may be slightly different, but it's all the same food, same culture, same everything, just different language. That's it.
Okay. And let me kind of, so obviously you being from America, being from an African American, I believe that West Africa is a little bit different because they tend to know who we are. Yeah. Maybe in comparisons to some of the East African countries where they may not have, you have to connect the dots for them. Like, tell them like, oh yeah, I'm in the same tribe as Will Smith, Beyonce. Like, oh, okay. Now, okay. So, but Nigerians and Ghanaians and Liberians, they know more upfront who we are.
Right.
How did that play to an advantage and disadvantage, and if so, why?
It kind of does, because it's like in Nigeria, when they see you, it's instant. I know you, right? It's instant. You can be black without being black. You're black without being black. I mean, you don't have to think about being black, because you just are, right? And it's something about the African American and the Nigerian and Ghanaian and the West African. When we see each other, we're looking in the mirror, so we're comfortable working and dealing with each other. East Africans, we're a little bit more far removed from them. There are our brothers and sisters, But at the same time, our history goes a little bit further when it comes to them, and they didn't go through the exact same situation we went through, even though they dealt with the same oppression, right? So they weren't really so much East Africa part of. Some of them were, but not the majority of them weren't part of the transatlantic slave trade. So they don't have that same relatability, as we do. But they do know, they recognize that our history is deep with them. But this history that we're dealing with is actually pretty current, right? Slavery is a current thing. It just ended. Like it just ended, right? It just stopped, right? There's somebody alive now who mama was a slave still right now. So, it wasn't that long ago, even though we think it was. It really wasn't. So I think it's just a familiarity with West Africans and African Americans. That also why we bump heads so much, but also why we really blend when we're not bumping heads. So that's how I see it.
Let me kind of talk about something, if I can. I want to kind of dial it back, because a lot of times you see a lot of talented people in the diaspora. I mean, on this channel you see a lot of Ugandans. They live, or Boston, Los Angeles, wherever, London, and the same is true for Nigerians in America, especially in the DC, New York City area. We're doing very well. They're some of the best performing people academically in the country. And then, there's always that fundamental question, and it's juxtaposed to why don't African Americans invest in Africa? And you hear about Nigeria, you do hear about some of the problems. Like the baby was just there, he was complaining about getting shaken down at the airport, and asked for bribes. And you have people that go to Africa, they have a hope of maybe wanting to do business, but then they're so afraid of somebody lying, or they losing money, or bribes, things like that. And so the people are very interested in that. So people want to know, is Nigeria, in your opinion, a good place to do business despite its bad rap? And what are the pros and cons of that?
Yes, Nigeria is a great place to do business. Matter of fact, like if you're smart and you're thinking about the future, you got foresight, you would be looking at Nigeria very hard, and the rest of the world is. But Nigeria is easy to do business, but the main thing is who you know and being polite. I swear, a smile and politeness gets you a long way over there. And that's one thing we have to, like for instance, America, we have a certain style of doing business, right? We get straight to it. We're very aggressive. Over there, you got to kind of like make friends real quick. You got to kind of like pander a little bit to each other, and then you do business, right? And then you can negotiate and do certain things like that. But doing square business over there, doing solid, legitimate businesses over there is easy. It's the same way as doing over here. You just do your same due diligence, just like you do over here. There's nothing alien about doing business in Nigeria. Everything's in English, right? You can read all the contracts. It sounds similar to the contracts in America. Buying land is simple in Nigeria. You can actually own it, and it's yours. You don't pay taxes, right? You own that land. It's yours, right? You can do anything you want, getting permits. Once you learn the names of the cities, the villages, wherever you're working at, and just where's the business administration, where's the office, it's just simply knowing where you are. Just like if you go to a new state, you have to learn the lay of the land, right? Or you may go to a new state and they have a tougher accent when you're from. You just kind of learn how people speak, understand the local dialect, learn how to move about, and then you can move seamlessly. Same with Nigeria. You just got to learn where the institutions are. Learn, and you're fine. Learn where the bank at. Like I go into the bank, the bank works just like any bank here. I can go with my American passport, my American ID, and I can go open up a bank account. And it's just a reputable bank, a black-owned bank. If you like banking black, you can't go wrong with Nigeria. You're gonna find a bank that's black. Go in there and make yourself an account, and there you go. It's just that simple. It's nothing scary. If you can do business in America, you can do business overseas. Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to have an American liaison anyway. Whatever you do, it's going to be somebody to facilitate that.
Okay. So, brother, I won't hold you too long, and I do thank you for coming. We actually recorded this before, but my sound was bad last week, so we're doing it over again today. But I actually like this one a little bit better. Tell everybody, I always give the people an opportunity to tell people about their channel and why, somebody should subscribe to the Afro Think Tank channel.
Okay, so my channel is about normal, rational-minded thinking African Americans who are proud to be African, who want to unify socially, economically, with their brothers and sisters on the continent who think of us as on the macro view as a big family. That's what my page is about. We talk real truth. We talk about real history. We don't play any games with the funny people. We may give them opportunity to speak. When they get out of pocket, we're gone. And we're thinking about doing tangible things. I talk about tangible things. I got over 200 videos of me in Nigeria showing you how much things cost, from concrete to sand to building material to walls to everything. I keep it real. Ain't no ebook. It's all free. You would definitely learn something on my page if you want to learn about how to do things in Nigeria, some of the beautiful places of Nigeria, and some of the commonalities between African Americans and Nigerians that most of us African Americans don't know, but on my channel you'll find out. If you want to know that, just come check me out, Afro Think Tank.
Guys, give him a round of applause. I really appreciate our brother for spending time with us. He's a very powerful brother, in my opinion. One of the better talents in this space. I'm a big fan of what he talks about and what he's a very, very intellectual guy. So if you listen to him, you will not be disappointed. Check him out. The first comment pinned to the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. Keep it real, Kenganda. Peace.